Ah, the dreaded check engine light. You know, it's one of the most frustrating things to see pop up on your dashboard. And if you've plugged in a scanner and found the code U059E on your Ford, you're probably wondering, okay, how bad is this? Well, you've come to the right place. We're going to break down exactly what your car is trying to tell you and give you a step-by-step plan to get it fixed.
So what is this U059E code all about? Put simply, it's a communication breakdown. Your car's main computer, that's the Powertrain Control Module, or PCM, is expecting to hear from a really important emission sensor, the nitrogen oxide sensor, also known as the NOx sensor. Its job is to help the engine run clean. But for some reason, the PCM isn't getting a valid signal from it. It's like a dropped call, and that's what triggers the code.
And you definitely don't want to just ignore this one. This little communication error can lead to some pretty big problems. We're talking anything from a noticeable dip in your engine's performance all the way to a potential and much more serious system failure. The bottom line is, this code is telling you to take action, and sooner is much better than later.
But hey, don't worry, we're going to tackle this logically. Think of this as our diagnostic roadmap. We're going to investigate the four most common culprits behind this code. The key is we'll start with the simplest, easiest fix and work our way up to the more complex stuff.
This right here is our whole game plan. It's basically your cheat sheet for this job. As you can see, there are four main possibilities we're looking at. A simple poor connection, the sensor itself could be faulty, the wiring harness might be damaged, or, in some cases, it's the PCM. We're going to walk through each of these one by one. All right, let's dive into investigation number 1, the simple connection fix. Honestly, this is one of the most common causes, and the great news is, it's also the easiest to solve. So, let's get our hands dirty, shall we? So, the very first thing you need to check is the physical connection at the NOx sensor. You know, over time, these things can get gunked up with dirt, they can corrode, or just vibrate loose. This is usually where that dropped call between the sensor and the car's computer happens. And here's the solution. It's a really simple 3-step process. First, just get in there and inspect the NOx sensor and its wiring. Look for any obvious corrosion or dirt. Second, clean it. Get rid of anything you find. A good contact cleaner can work wonders here. And finally, tighten everything back up to make sure that connection is solid. A lot of the time, this is all it takes to make that check engine light go away. But what if you've cleaned and tightened those connections, and that pesky check engine light is still staring back at you? Well, then it's time for investigation number 2, considering that the sensor itself might be bad. So, if you're positive the connection is clean and tight, then the problem probably lies with the component itself. I mean, just like any other part on your car, these sensors can wear out and fail over time. If the NOx sensor isn't working right, it can't send good data, no matter how perfect the connection is. And if the sensor is the problem, the fix is pretty straightforward. It just needs to be replaced. Now, this is a bit more involved than just cleaning a connector, but it's often a simple part swap. A brand new sensor will make sure the PCM gets the clean, accurate data it's been missing. Okay, so you've checked the connections. Maybe you even replaced the sensor, but that U059E code just won't go away. Now we're moving into the territory of less common, but more serious issues. We're talking potential damage to the wiring or even the main computer itself. Think of the wiring harness as the communication highway that connects the NOx sensor to the PCM. If that highway has a pothole, a frayed wire, a cut, or corrosion, then the message just can't get through. And because of the rough environment under the hood, trying to patch these wires isn't always a reliable fix. The best solution is usually to just replace the harness and guarantee a perfect connection. And that brings us to our last and, I should say, least likely culprit, the Powertrain Control Module. This is the brain of your engine. Now, failures are pretty rare, but they do happen. If the brain is damaged, it can't understand the signals it's getting, even from a brand new sensor. And if the PCM itself is the problem, the only real solution is a full replacement. So, let's do a quick recap of our diagnostic mission. We started with the easiest and most common fix, checking for poor connections. If that didn't work, we moved on to testing the NOx sensor itself. From there, we escalated to inspecting the wiring harness for any damage. And finally, we considered the rare chance of a bad PCM. That is your 4-step path to solving this code.
So there you have it. We've laid out the map, we've identified the suspects, and we've outlined the solutions, from the simple to the complex. The key is just to be systematic. This isn't just some frustrating error code, it's a puzzle, and it's waiting for you to solve it. So the only question left is, now that you have the roadmap, Are you ready to solve the mystery?